Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herald here on Badlands Media. I'm your host, Jon Herold. I hope you all had just a fantastic Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. I know I had a great day. We hosted here. Girlfriend Cece did a great job cooking up the food. Family enjoyed it. It was a ton of fun. Bravest says, thumbs up feature not working for me and others and hasn't been for some time. FYI, that is weird. What you should do is send me a message on Twitter or tag me on Twitter and let me know what device you're using. Like, so if are you on your computer or your phone? Is it a Windows, Android, Mac, whatever? And then make sure it's all updated and everything. But yeah, I've heard that complaint from a few people, so I appreciate you guys letting me know so I can let the Rumble people know. But yeah, we had a good Thanksgiving. I I don't know. I caught up on the new Stranger Things. I kind of disconnected last night, pretty much all day. I didn't really post anything until I said Happy Thanksgiving at the end of the day yesterday. But yeah, family hung out after they all left. We watched the 4 episodes of the new Stranger Things, the series or whatever, which I do like that show. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's a good show. Worked just now. Awesome. Okay, good. We're going to talk about what we're thankful for today at some point. So if you guys know what you're thankful for, make sure you put it in the chat. There's a amazing Twitter post or True Social post from Donald Trump that we got to read. He's saying the word retarded great again, which I certainly appreciate. What else? There isn't a ton of news. Might be some corruption in Ukraine, which is shocking to nobody. But other than that, I don't know. But let's get a quick word from our sponsors, and then we'll start plugging away. First up, we got Unicity.
You deserve more than sluggish mornings and blood sugar spikes. Discover the simple daily system that helped so many regain health without dieting or exercise routines. 2 easy-to-take daily drinks. A brain-boosting, appetite-suppressing morning blend that ushers in energy and clarity. A hearty, fiber-packed pre-meal drink that stabilizes blood sugar, aids digestion, and fights cravings. It's a gentle, science-backed path to improved metabolism, renewed vitality, and lasting weight control. Feeling better starts with this simple 2-step daily protocol.
Hey guys, if you're feeling sluggish, can't lose weight, or you're just tired of the hold Big Pharma has on you, head on over to badlandshealth.com. Get started today. You got nothing to lose with their 90-day money-back guarantee. And I use the Unicity every morning. I see Fixed Bayonet. Thankful for all my fellow co-founders. I'm thankful for all you guys as well. We had a couple weird trolls on the daily this morning. Yeah, trolls are out in force, as they usually are. Rihad, not a good Thanksgiving. My brother, sister-in-law, and nephew were in a head-on car accident. Not good. Oh my gosh. Prayers for you and your family. Is there any update? Are they okay? Yeah, Painterlator 26. Great way to get people to click the thumbs up. Make sure to test it. Make sure it's working for you. And if it's not, you got to let me know. But yeah, prayers to you, Rihab. I'm so sorry to hear that. Jackie Espot, I'm thankful for people leaving me alone and not being dickheads. Yeah. Isn't it funny when people just insert themselves into things that have nothing to do with them? Pretend like they know anything that's going on. Got a lot of that going around too. We also have Van Man today as a sponsor. We could talk about them real quick. Then we'll get to all the good stuff. I can find my Van Man. There we go. Van Man. You know about Van Man taking down big toothpaste with all natural oral care, right? It's the perfect time to grab the dental care bundle to gift. Van Man's tooth powder is loaded with minerals like eggshells and bone, and combined with pulling oils and peppermint aloe mouth rinse, it's truly the ultimate fluoride-free dental hygiene bundle that saves you 25% off the individual prices. And the van never stops introducing Van Man's new Pearl Eye Cream and Sweet Onion Shampoo. Head over to badlandsmedia.tv/vanman to see what's new. Again, that's badlandsmedia.tv/vanman. All right. So, real quick, we'll start with the Doge numbers because we were told they were going to be updated today on Friday, but they have not updated them yet, unfortunately. So we'll see what happens. No update on the presidential website either. You know, last time I did a show, what was that, Wednesday? We talked about the Emerald Robinson thread, and I don't know if we even caught up. But also Wednesday night, me and Bernie Bright went over the thread on the Power Hour. And I mean, we went over that in pretty good detail. And there were some people that did not agree with what we were saying, which is totally fine. I mean, half the time we say things, people don't agree with it. It's expected. I did start watching the Laura Logan interview. I'm about 40 minutes in maybe or something. And I got to say, like, one of the guys is allegedly former CIA. And how often do we talk about, like, there's no such thing as former, right? Like, we say that with everybody else. In my opinion, we say that with everybody, including this guy. The other guy was a journalist. They were telling a story, but they didn't actually, 40 minutes in, again, maybe I'm missing something. They were telling a story, but they didn't actually show anything that was, like, factual, okay? I mean, they showed screenshots of people that were around at the time. I'm really not trying to, like, knock the story of election fraud because I fully 100% believe that our elections are fraudulent and have been for a long time. I just still think that whatever this threat is, it's an op, in my opinion. And even today, she came out and Benny Johnson read her tweets on air, and I am no fan of Benny Johnson, by the way. You guys know that. But she came and posted, like, why did Benny Johnson read all of my tweets on his show without inviting me on to discuss them on air? That's not how journalism works, Benny. So she's saying here that if you post something publicly to your social medias, nobody is allowed to discuss what you post unless they invite you on for an interview. Is that how it works? Is that really what journalism is? Is that how journalism works? Because if so, that's retarded. And she knows that. So I don't know, weird stuff going on with this whole thing. But I will finish that Laura Logan interview. I'm going to take in all the information because people were upset that I haven't done that yet and chose to comment on it regardless. And I understand what you're saying. I'm going to consume it all. And so far, my opinion has not changed. Whatever this is, it's some sort of op. It seems like an anti-Trump op. It seems like an anti-Ratcliffe op. It seems like anti-Susie Wiles potentially op. Maybe Tulsi Gabbard. I don't know. Like, I have a different perspective on a lot of these players. And apparently a different perspective on Trump, which is weird because when we criticize the things Trump has done, or, you know, things that haven't actually happened yet, criticize some of his administration, we get met with backlash. But then when we aren't criticizing some of the people in Trump's administration, we get met with backlash. Like, it's just weird. And it seems like the goalposts move based on, I don't know, like they're heroes in the movement, right? Something I talked about last week. The only hero in the movement should be Trump. And you can't really take anything he says at face value because he's always running psyops. So I don't know. I just have a completely different perspective on John Ratcliffe and his role in the 2020 election. I think I made that pretty clear on Wednesday's show. So I'd encourage you guys to go watch that Power Hour if you haven't yet. Georgia Nana 17. John, yes, that is how journalism works. And you also have to pay them $50,000 to come onto your show. Wow. That is a lot of money. Bravest, that was the troll mentality this morning. That people aren't, like, just taking everything they're saying at face value. Truth Lab, well, the catamaran part was a little much. That's kind of what made it seem like a tall tale. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that kind of make it seem like a tall tale. And there's probably bits and pieces of it that are true. That's the thing. There's aspects in there that are true. Like, I believe our elections are fraudulent. Nobody's arguing that, especially at Badlands. Like, that's kind of like the underlying principle of Badlands itself. my Devolution series started because I knew the election was stolen, and it didn't make sense that Trump walked away. And me starting the Devolution series and getting that following there on Substack and then doing my shows and starting Rumble, I turned all those platforms into Badlands Media. My personal platforms that I had prior to Badlands were turned into the Badlands Media platform. So the entire platform that we have here originated from the basis that our elections are stolen and fraudulent. So it's not that I'm just not willing to believe that, because I totally do. There's something else about this that is off-putting, okay? And I'm not even 100% sure what it is. Can't put my finger on it all the way. Maybe it's the story is just unbelievable, like how she tells it. That's certainly true. But there's something else here. There's a weird op going on. And I do not believe that we are on the cusp of invading Venezuela because of the election system. We've been trying to overthrow them and regime change them well before any of this stuff happened. I think it was Colonel Towner who had a great tweet this morning. Colonel Towner Watkins. I think I shared it actually. Let me go. That might be easier, quicker. Chicago Ray, let that sink in. Just as we're seeing our Navy take out these speedboats loaded with fentanyl, it's worth reminding everyone that the CIA helped Maduro stay in power. Colonel Towner Watkins, you people are retarded. Literally retarded. Let that sink in. The CIA has launched repeated attempts to overthrow Chavez and Maduro. Do some fucking research before repeating bullshit posts by an illiterate talking head. By the way, swear jar, it doesn't count if I'm reading somebody else swearing. It's not my original swearing. That's not how journalism works, okay? The CIA attempted to coup Chavez in 2002. Bolton hired convicted Iran-Contra Elliot Abrams, was pardoned by Iran-Contra mastermind GHWB, George H.W. Bush, CIA director, in 2019 to facilitate another coup attempt on behalf of Big Oil. You guys are an embarrassment to the truth movement. Preach it, sister. Good stuff. Oh, and speaking of retards, we should read Donald Trump's latest post. Not that Donald Trump's retarded, but he uses the word retarded in here and gives everybody permission for the rest of time to call retards retarded. And I think if there's anything that we should be thankful for, it's that. Okay, a very happy Thanksgiving salutation to all of our great American citizens and patriots who have been so nice in allowing our country to be divided, disrupted, carved up, murdered, beaten, mugged, and laughed at, along with certain other foolish countries throughout the world for being politically correct and just plain stupid when it comes to immigration. And I love his, he's always done this. His holiday messages, like Happy 4th of July to, and then he just totally berates a certain group of people. And he just uses these as an opportunity to bash people, and I love it. I think we should normalize that as well. The official United States foreign population stands at 53 million people. That is a huge number of people, most of which are on welfare from failed nations or from prisons, mental institutions, gangs, or drug cartels. They and their children are supported through massive payments from patriotic American citizens who, because of their beautiful hearts, do not want to openly complain or cause trouble in any way, shape, or form. They put up with what has happened to our country, but it's eating them alive to do so. A migrant earning $30,000 with a green card will get roughly $50,000 in yearly benefits for their family. The real migrant population is much higher. This refugee burden is the leading cause of social dysfunction in America, something that did not exist after World War II. Failed schools, high crime, urban decay, overcrowded hospitals, housing shortages, and large deficits, etc. As an example, hundreds of thousands of refugees from Somalia are completely taking over the once great state of Minnesota. Somalian gangs are roving the streets looking for prey as our wonderful people stay locked in their apartments and houses, hoping against hope that they will be left alone. The seriously retarded governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, does nothing, either through fear, incompetence, or both, while the worst congressman woman in our country, Ilhan Omar, always wrapped in her swaddling hijab and who probably came to the U.S. illegally, and that you are not allowed to marry your brother, does nothing but hatefully complain about our country, its constitution, and how badly she is treated, when her place of origin is a decadent, backward, and crime-ridden nation, which is essentially not even a country for lack of government, military, police, schools, etc. Man, that's a long sentence. That sentence started here, but it's a great one, filled with good stuff. Not only does he call Tim Walz retarded, calls out Ilhan Omar, calls her basically not an American citizen. Like, what does that mean? That's some great stuff. This is the president of the United States, guys. I mean, you could borderline like, hey, I'm getting sued for defamation right now as part of that stupid lawsuit. And what I said was much less than this, even though what I said wasn't defamation anyway. But this is hilarious. I love this. Keith O'Higgins, if you can't buy the Venezuelan rug right now, would you buy it at a discount on overstock.com? That's funny. It's funny because Patrick Byrne and overstock.com. Oh, my mom's in the chat. Just want to pop in and say CC made the best Thanksgiving turkey and hosted flawlessly. Yes, by the way, guys, the ChefIQ led to a fantastic turkey, a perfectly moist turkey. Richard Ward, John, the psyop is already played out, and as an OG Q-tard, I'm disappointed that we didn't finish the sentence. It's disappointed? Disappointing? Rebel Nader, if we can blow up boats carrying poison to our people, can we shoot down planes spraying poison on our people? That's a good question. Okay, let's keep going here. Even as we have progressed technologically, immigration policy has eroded those gains and living conditions for many. I will permanently pause migration from all third world countries to allow the U.S. system to fully recover, terminate all the millions of Biden illegal admissions, including those signed by Sleepy Joe Biden's autopen, and remove anyone who is not a net asset to the United States or is incapable of loving our country. End all federal benefits and subsidies to non-citizens of our country, denaturalize migrants who undermine domestic tranquility, and deport any foreign national who is a public charge, security risk, or non-compatible with Western civilization. These goals will be pursued with the aim of achieving a major reduction in illegal and disruptive populations, including those admitted through an unauthorized and illegal auto pen approval process. Only reverse migration can fully cure the situation. Other than that, happy Thanksgiving to all, except those that hate, steal, murder, and destroy everything that America stands for. You won't be here for long. And I love that message, and I totally agree with that message. And it's a little disappointing that, you know, to still see that our tax dollars, for those who still choose to pay taxes, this is what it's been going to. It's going to non-citizens that are not even a net positive of this country. It's kind of amazing that nobody's been able to successfully argue that, like, I don't know what happens, you know, for people who get in trouble for not paying tax or whatever, but I got to imagine at some point somebody could like successfully argue that the money they spend in taxes has not been spent appropriately, and therefore they shouldn't have to pay their taxes. You know what I mean? But like Trump is like basically telling you, like, yeah, you know, all this money that you're spending in taxes as a country, this is what it's going to. Whoopsie. But he did say, I think he had a comment. Let me see if I can find it. Trump income tax. He's flirting with us when it comes to the income tax. He made a comment here.
For the next couple of years, I think we'll substantially be cutting, and maybe cutting out completely, but we'll be cutting income tax. Could be almost completely cutting it because the money we're taking in is going to be so large. And yet other countries who have been ripping us off for many, many years, and many years they've just been ripping us to shreds for the next couple of.
So that'd be cool. If they took away income tax. Richard Rohr, John, have some pie, relax, and trust Trump and military. Remember, when lights go out, patriots are in control. You know, I will trust that, but I will also take some things into my own hands. Whiskey Girl, good to see you, Whiskey. Strongly worded letters get mailed to your house. Speaking for a friend. Please end them. Oh, there's a comment in here I saw that I wanted to comment on. Oh, where's it at? Dang it. Can't find it. Shoot. Because I had something in my head that it was going to be really good, and I don't remember what it was. And I wonder if I should just sit here in silence until I remember. Piason Pawn says he's not teasing us with the no income tax. He's preparing minds for it. Can you say foreshadow? I knew you could. Jon taking things into his own hands. This is a PG-13 chat, sir. Yeah. Palin Republican. I used the ChefIQ. Worked perfectly until I realized I had the turkey upside down. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, there was an incident. Like, we were waiting for the turkey. This is the only complaint I could possibly have is, we're like, hey, we're going to eat at 1, right? And it was like 1:05, and the turkey wasn't quite done yet. We were like minutes away. And the timer on the ChefIQ was like, okay, 5 minutes till it's ready. It's 4 minutes till it's ready. But then at one point, it started going the other way. It was like, okay, well, 7 minutes till it's ready, 8 minutes, 12 minutes. And it turned out somebody bumped the oven and accidentally turned it off. And so it delayed our turkey by like 12 minutes. But it was really funny. It's like, oh my gosh, the turkey, like you can't overcook a turkey if the oven's off. So I will give her that, if that was part of the strategy. But yeah, that was really funny. But no, the ChefIQ was amazing. Aerosmith woman, write down your great thoughts and check them once in a while. Well, my great thoughts happen. They come to me live. They come to me on air. And so typically I just go with it. I do have my notepad and stuff. I write stuff down as they come to me. Normally I do that when other people are talking, so I don't forget. But anyway, yeah, had we not had the ChefIQ, we may not have ever realized that the oven was off. Sodak Granny. Jon, I love it when you forget stuff. You make me feel young. Thank you. Richard Rohr, we are supposed to be advanced anons, guiding the slow kids through this mess, not freaking like some screaming little beaches, crying about lumpy gravy. When I was your age, we ate dry chicken and loved it. I've had my fair share of dry chicken. I just didn't have it this year. And yeah, we can be the guiding force, the driving horse for people through this mess. I'm not freaking out about anything, but I'm also just not going to. I've said this so many times. I feel like I'm repeating myself. What else is there? Okay, so this is kind of a big story, I'd say. We're talking about this peace plan with Ukraine, and there's a lot of speculation around why the war in Ukraine had to happen in the first place. Trump says it never would have happened if he was in office, and I believe him. I think it only could happen. This is something we've talked about before, because he wasn't in office. So he gets out of there. Putin decides to invade Ukraine. He's going to denazify it, get rid of the corruption, all these things, get his land back. But a lot of the reason that it needed to happen is because of the corruption problem in Ukraine. And that corruption problem still needs to be resolved, especially how it ties to the Biden family and other people in previous administrations. But here we have another story where Zelensky's top aide and key peace negotiator resigns after anti-corruption raid of his home. One of Ukraine's most influential political operators and a close aide of President Vladimir Zelensky has resigned hours after anti-corruption agencies raided his home, a major crisis as Kyiv faces new pressure from the U.S. to accept a peace deal to end the war with Russia. Officially, the chief of staff to the president, Andriy Yermak, has often been seen as Ukraine's second most powerful man. He has been leading the Ukrainian delegation during recent talks in Geneva with Washington. Yermak's resignation, which was announced by Zelensky on Friday, complicates Kyiv's position going into crucial peace negotiations with the United States. I want no one to have any questions about Ukraine today. Therefore, today we have the following internal decisions. First, there will be a reboot of the office of the president of Ukraine. The head of the office, Andriy Yermak, has written a letter of resignation. You think this corruption touches Zelensky himself? Like, has there been a president of Ukraine that hasn't been corrupt in some form or fashion? I know we can make the argument he's a white hat, possibly. I'm still not sold on that. I don't think he's going to be the one that's there after the election, unless Venezuela and Maduro choose they want Zelensky again. And you know what? Going back to the Emerald Robinson thing, I just got to say, this is a point I made on Wednesday's show. I want to make it one more time, and then I won't go back to it again unless you guys bring it up. The claim that Maduro and Venezuela have been controlling elections for 20 years in 72 countries, including the United States, yet the country that they're controlling elections in has been trying to overthrow them that entire time, doesn't make sense. That is a contradiction. You can say, yeah, they stopped the steal, but they've been trying to overthrow them for a lot longer than recently, which it doesn't make sense. Anyway, this is one of the things I'm worried about. Not actually worried, but the peace plan that they put out has all these different bullet points, and one of them is like we're gonna, have an office there, and they're gonna take over the gas and the natural resources of Ukraine. They're gonna get a loan from the World Bank and the IMF and all these things, and it's like, how are we gonna trust that these separate groups aren't gonna be also doing corrupt stuff? Because there's never not been corruption in Ukraine. Like, never. And so, like, we're just supposed to trust that it's all fully rooted out when Zelensky's second in command just gets arrested, and like everybody Zelensky's been associated with has been arrested for corruption, yet somehow Zelensky isn't. Again, maybe he's controlled. I don't know. Don't even care, really. But for me to want to get involved there and, like, again, have tax dollars go to Ukraine, I want to see some of that corruption cleaned up. It needs to be. It's also stupid. The scandal has already taken down 2 of Zelensky's ministers and embroiled a former business associate from his days in the entertainment industry. Crazy. E.H. Kyle, the reason Ukraine decided to go for a peace deal because the audit on all the money going to Ukraine will stop. Zelensky belongs behind Putin's horse with a shovel and his spiked heels. Freak. And Trump had zero idea. Yeah, that's another one. Rocket Savvy 96. By the way, I think, were you the one that gave those pecans? Because we used that in a pie and it was delicious. Who said the 72 countries know that Venezuela is being paid to control the outcomes of the elections? They rig it in the way they are paid to rig it. Fix Bayonet, her story makes Trump look ignorant, confused, and clueless. Sure doesn't speak well to her credibility. And it sure goes, it flies in the face of everybody who believes there's some sort of plan going on. I think Bernie Bright's one who said that the other day. Kelly O, good to see you. Ivy A, grandson is in the U.S. Air Force. Spoke to him yesterday. He will be deployed starting today through December. He said he couldn't say where, but he'd be deployed to. Interesting. Rocket Savvy, yes, I gave you the pecans. Well, there you go. We used them in the pecan pie yesterday, and they were delicious. Thank you so much. I thought it was you. But being deployed could be deployed anywhere. I mean, you could be deployed domestically for National Guard stuff. We just don't know. Eleanor 2000 also gave us some. Could have been a mix of both bags. That's right. I think we gave 2 bags to my brother's the one who made the pie. Emerald is just not credible. And see, I don't know. There's something about her that it was a while ago. She did a similar thread kind of like this, and it was just, again, gave me weird vibes. I'm not saying she's not credible. I think some of the stuff she does is credible. But some of it is not. Like this thread, I'm not on board on it. Start Sparky, what about me, John? What about you? One gal now. Happy Thanksgiving for $100. Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving, John. You've created a truly wonderful thing, so don't let the dumbasses get you down. Don't you worry. I don't. They're just a minor annoyance. Give me lots of homework that I have to do for my attorneys. But I appreciate your guys' support. I'm excited to get through this, whatever. Excited for this whole situation to be done. But yeah, thank you for the rant. What else do I got for you? There isn't much. Like, normally CNBC has a couple like news stories that interest me, but there's really nothing. It's Black Friday. I guess I talk about that. There wasn't really anything else in here that got me all hot and bothered. National Guard member, the female died. The other one's still in critical condition. We talked about that on Wednesday too. But yeah, there's that. Let's see. Was there anything else on Truth Social? I don't think so. I did think it was funny. Trump shared a picture of one of the planes of the migrants coming in. Because some of these stories are like contradictions. When you think of, everybody's like, okay, that plane in Afghanistan, that's fake. It's a blow up airplane. Like a lot of people have talked about that for a long time. And then you get Trump sharing a picture with, I mean, there's no way to verify that this is from one of those planes or anything. I just think it's funny. I think I already I read that. Okay, that's all we got. Yeah, again, nothing too exciting. I already read this story. President Trump's Thanksgiving message. I already read that, but it's focused on immigration crackdown. Yeah, there really just is not much. DOJ has charged the suspect in the National Guard ambush with first-degree murder. So there's that. Man, half an hour in, and I'm already out of stories, guys. So I'll just sit in here and talk with you guys, whatever you guys want to talk about. We are doing family pictures today, which is going to be very exciting because I like, when it comes to family pictures, I like to, I don't know how do I put this? I don't like to take them seriously. Everybody like gets dressed up all fancy. Like one year I wore a cowboy hat, even though I'm not a real cowboy, but I did. I wore the cowboy hat and it was great. This year we have a theme. At least like me, Cece, my kids, we're doing a theme. The rest of my family does not know about the theme. And it's going to be awesome. I showcase my personality. There we go. I like that. Update us on the blowtorch kid next door, John. The kid's still great. He's still allowed to come over. He hasn't brought a blowtorch over in a long time. Actually, gosh, was this last week, I think? My son was over there playing, and they were like throwing stuff around, and my son threw a piece of wood and like hit him in the face, and he was like freaking out crying, which, I mean, obviously you get hit in the face with a piece of wood. You're going to do that. And so, yeah, my son used like his own money to buy him a Nerf football to say he was sorry. But no, they're on good terms. Things are good. Rise of Tire, I think there's nuance more so than contradiction. The plane in the ridiculous shot of the silly boy waving was staged, but there still could have been real flights, right? Absolutely. John K. Spotter, let's talk about the Jews. I feel like technically everything we talk about is about the Jews. Have you gone to your P.O. box yet? No, I am going to do that Monday. I will do that Monday. Cece, I know you're listening. Make me do that Monday. How about General Flynn advice to Trump? Fire Bondi and appoint Sidney Powell. Yeah, I mean, I've never been a fan of Bondi necessarily. You know, some of the stuff that's gone on, especially with the Epstein thing, I feel like she's done to herself. Some people like her. I don't know her. But I trust Trump. And I'm not a fan of, like, it doesn't matter who it is, but the people on social media saying, like, Trump needs to do this. Like, Trump needs to do this. Like, you never opinion on a situation. Like, yeah, okay, I don't like Pam Bondi. I think this person would be better. Like me personally, I don't like that my grocery prices haven't come down. Trump needs to lower grocery prices, right? Whatever. But we got to stop pretending like we know more than Trump. Trump has access to more information than anybody else. Anybody else. Trump has been the number one target of the deep state, like the enemy, the people who hate America, right? Like we all acknowledge that. If you're watching the show, and most of the people on social media too, like we can all acknowledge that Trump has been the number one target of all of the deep state shenanigans since he came down the escalator. All the Russiagate stuff, all the impeachment stuff, the COVID stuff, the stolen election stuff. They tried to politically persecute him. They tried to assassinate him. He's been the number one target, right? But the way these people present Trump when they tell him what he needs to do, it's like, oh, this guy's the number one enemy, but he has no idea what he's doing. Like, how would he be the number one enemy of these people if he had no idea what he was doing? So why are we trying to tell him what he needs to do? Why are we trying to like whatever he's doing it for a reason. We can complain about it. That's fine. But there's a reason, like, you know, I think Trump brings certain people into his administration at certain times for certain reasons. They have a job or a use. Once their use is up, he gets rid of them. He did that a lot in his first term. Haven't really noticed a pattern yet with the second term, but the first term, it was always like that. He'd have somebody in for whatever their purpose was. Once they got done serving that purpose, they were gone. And there's a lot of things to criticize in Trump's administration right now. Totally agree. But I still, while I say that stuff, I still understand that Trump knows way more than I do or anybody else. And so while I criticize, I'm not going to tell him what he needs to do. John, if you go to your P.O. box on Sunday, it's not busy. Oh, that's true. For some reason, I was thinking post office is not open on the weekends, but it would be open tomorrow. I could probably do that. Good to see a call sign, Cujo. Rebel Nader, if you talk about the Jews, you better set up a dead man switch. Who's to say I don't already have one? Pious and Pawn. That's exactly how I knew he was an agent for good, because of how the demons attack him. And that's like another reason I find this Emerald Robinson thread so disingenuous. It's because there's a reason Trump has been the #1 target of the people trying to like destroy us. There's a reason for that. And it's not because he's like incompetent and dumb and not a threat to them. You know what I mean? Like, I wrote the Devolution series for a reason. I think he implemented Devolution for a reason. I think all these key players were put in place for a reason, including Ratcliffe, which is why I find it interesting that like they're trying to get John Ratcliffe fired from the CIA, and I haven't seen an actual reason to do that yet. I haven't seen John Ratcliffe work against Trump in any way. When you operate under the lens that they needed to implement devolution and they plan to implement devolution, you can accurately understand what they were doing back in 2020. And I know a lot of people don't like to agree with the devolution series. That's totally fine. I'm not telling anybody to do that, but it's just that's where I get my perspective from. People who don't have that perspective are going to see things differently. But like if Trump wasn't a threat, if Trump was stupid, if Trump was that easily controlled and manipulated where he would just hire anybody that works against him and all these things, he wouldn't be such a threat to them. So what are these people doing when they're trying to, in my opinion, some of these comments, they're an attempt to delegitimize Trump. And you know what? That's what narrative warfare is. Rich Higgins wrote about this in his memo. And I wrote about this in my series. Narrative warfare, regular warfare, is all about delegitimizing somebody. And you know how you do that? You do that by making him seem stupid and incompetent. And so why are these people that everybody looks to as heroes of the movement assisting our enemies by making Trump seem incompetent? There's this article. This is from my part 22. Irregular warfare is a struggle among state and non-state actors to influence populations and affect legitimacy. Attempts to explain irregular warfare counterpose it to traditional warfare, which denotes in irregular warfare, legitimacy, credibility, and political advantage is the prize, and military efforts are only relevant insofar that they serve those goals. And every time these people accuse Trump of having no idea what he's doing, not understanding that our elections are fraudulent, not being a competent employee. Like, this guy's a billionaire. He's run multiple successful billion-dollar companies or whatever. He's gotten his money for a reason because he's a successful business person. But you're trying to tell me he doesn't know how to hire people and delegate unless there's a reason for it? Like, if he's got somebody in his circle that's not good, they're there for a reason, in my opinion. But so these people they're attacking Trump's legitimacy and his credibility. And that's what Trump's enemies are also doing. And I'm not saying that these people are the enemy, but I do have to wonder, why are people that are supposedly on our side and in support of Trump serving the goals of the enemies by attacking Trump's credibility? Does that make sense? The objective is, and this is the objective of irregular warfare. Victory may sometimes depend not on whose army wins, but on whose story wins. The objective is to win the narrative before winning the war. The principle is evident in social media offensives of the Islamic State, but also within the information warfare blitzkrieg unleashed by the Russian Federation in Ukraine and elsewhere, or the extensive Chinese use of disinformation to avoid what it calls the Tacitus trap, the danger of losing credibility with the citizenry. In all these cases, the key lies in presenting actions as going with the grain of local wants so as to make any associated gains more sustainable and difficult to undo. Every gain Trump makes, while Trump is making actual gains and potential future gains with all the, the infrastructure stuff, the AI stuff, the deportation stuff, all these things that we haven't seen the tangibles with it yet, but we know they're coming because we know he's doing these moves, or at least we're told to believe he's doing these moves. Those will provide a windfall at some point. But while we're waiting for the windfall, Trump's legitimacy is being attacked by people on our side. And so I'm going to look at them side-eye a little bit. And that's not just because I have a partial lazy eye, like my brother Kash Patel. It's because it's deserving. Did all that make sense, guys? Oh, my mom's here dropping off the kids. I'm going to have to go soon. Probably. Richard John, I'm old and stoned, so if I can see this clearly, so can normal morons. I wouldn't put so much faith in normal morons. I gotta make sure CC gets the door. Okay, what else? Is there anything else you guys want me to talk about? G Fontes, or actually a couple of rants here. G Fontes, no, let's go back even further. Harold Patriot, happy Thanksgiving to the Badlands crew. Thanks for shooting it to us straight. Thank you. Peyton Pooh, I already found out. Now it's time to fuck around. Love you, John. All creators on Badlands are awesome, most of which I found in 2020 on Fuck YouTube. Love y'all. Thank you. GFontis 119. Prices should really start dropping. Average wages should increase along with job openings and lower fuel costs outside of individual state taxes within 6 months, sometime during spring 2026. I agree. I'd hope so. Keith Huggins, John seems to be a battle of the hot blonde media mouthpieces. Megyn Kelly, Julie Kelly, Liz Wheeler, Liz Crokin, Laura Logan, Laura Trump, and now Emerald Robinson, Candace Owens for Black Friday special. Like that. How about silver? G Fontes setting a new all-time high, currently $56.61 per ounce. That is crazy. The new Peru, they've effectively hamstrung the Trump administration through the judicial branch and the legislative branch. Trump will always be our man, but I think attempts to use civil law diplomacy deals. Yeah. I'm surprised John can hear the door from his subterranean skiff. I can see them through the window. Medbeds Co. Q, given your devil research, is this movie coming to an end? Join late, if you're asking. I have no idea. I'm not going to predict the timing of this. I have no idea. I think that's up to us a little bit. Marine in the Woods. No, they will try to crash the economy in the spring, make Trump look bad for midterms. The blue states definitely will do that. But hopefully we've invaded Venezuela and taken out Maduro by then, so the midterms will be legitimate, right? Yeah, the whole thing is so stupid. We'll probably talk about this again on OnlyLands. I don't know for sure if I'm going to be on OnlyLands tonight, but I'll keep you guys posted. But I am going to sign off here because my kids are here and I got to get them ready for pictures and probably feed them a little bit. I hear that's important to do with kids. So Ghost is going live here in a little bit with geopolitics, and I have a feeling it's going to be a banger of a show. So I will raid you guys over there. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. Make sure it works for you. If it doesn't, tag me on Twitter. Let me know what device you're on, and maybe even a little screenshot or video of it not working. That'd be great. The new Peru is a stalemate. We love CEO Trump and Peacemaker Trump, but at the current phase, we need General Trump. Yeah, he's going to come out at some point. General Trump, he's there. We don't always have to understand everything he's doing. Criticize the things that you feel need criticizing, but again, join your local Badlander group and get involved locally. You take care of things in your personal life. What happens on the grander scheme of things shouldn't matter as much. Anyway, hit the thumbs up. Get yourself some soft disclosure. Support our sponsors, and I'm going to send you over to Ghost. I'll see you guys later, probably on OnlyLands. Maybe not. I haven't decided yet, but appreciate y'all. Thankful for you guys. You guys have a great rest of your Friday.
Soft disclosure, just dropped new favorites for the season. The Lotion, your 5-ounce favorite, is still here. And now we've added full 11-ounce bottles. New Lavender Tea Tree Deodorant, clean, calm, and effective. New Tallow Bars, Chamomile Lemon Rose, and Naked. Rich moisture that actually works. And on Black Friday, the new arrivals land. Introducing our first men's only formula, beard oil, in unscented and spiced vanilla. Truth, tamed, and finally your beard is too. Tallow lip balms, made with beef tallow and lanolin for serious moisture. Available in chamomile mint, vanilla, naked, and vanilla tangerine. Plus, mini tallow bars, same deep moisture as the full size. Available in vanilla coffee and naked. And finally, lavender vanilla lotion. Smooth, soothing, and worth the wait. On Black Friday, the new products arrive, and so do the Black Friday bundles. Visit softdisclosure.com for truth you can gift.
Soft disclosure.